Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. So Aston Villa appoint Steven Gerrard as their new manager. What are our thoughts on this? I've got to be honest, look, football's changed for me massively ever since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. I went through my childhood and upbringing as a young man into being a man. As a Manchester United fan, he was just very arrogant and didn't really care about what anybody else did and thought we were the best in the world, and it was great. And then Sir Alex Ferguson left and reality bit that you have to start looking outside of your club for quality and things that are being done correct, because we're just not doing it correct. And you're basically burying your head in the sand if you persist with United are better than everybody else, because we're not. And, you know, Steven Gerrard sort of falls into that category. He is, look, the Gerrard Lampard Scholes thing, I'm not getting into that, but there's no doubt, even though he wore a Liverpool shirt, he was a fantastic player who I would put down as not quite a Roy Keane, but certainly somebody that grabbed that club and led it on the pitch. You know, John Terry did it for Chelsea. Obviously, Gerrard did it for Liverpool as well. He's taken that personality into his managerial career. Look, Rangers, Brendan Rodgers to Manchester United, will it happen? People don't want it to happen, but then people will say, well, he won the treble at Celtic. Well, that's Scottish football. So you can say the same about Gerrard. But I think it's a brilliant bit of business by Aston Villa, first and foremost, before we talk about Gerrard. And I think it is a good appointment. I'd said a couple of weeks ago that I felt that with Villa and Dean Smith, the ceiling had been hit. Now, they could have elongated that very, very quickly, very easily. They could have carried on with that for a few more months. It might have got slightly better. It might have got worse. But it never would have got any better than it did last year. And I think Villa are very ambitious. They've spent a lot of money. They've got rich owners. They're not the Villa of 5-10 years ago. And they want to be part of something that's coming. And I can see what's coming. You've got Man City, Chelsea. Obviously, Liverpool are around. Newcastle have got money. Everton have got money. West Ham are doing well and are now starting to get money. So Villa want to be in and about, because if you're not in and about, you're outside the top 8 very, very quickly. And not to forget teams like Leicester as well. So I think Aston Villa acted on Dean Smith in a very ruthless but effective way. Aggressive. Remove him. You've done a great job. Thank you very much. And then get in somebody else who they think they can do a great job. And they've also proved that you can act like a big club within the season. This is not like signing a player. You can sack your manager in November and you can bring another manager in from another club in November. And they've done that. And Steven Gerrard's not an easy coach to get from Rangers. If you look at his career at Rangers, I think he joined in like 2018. Got them their first win in December 2018 against Celtic, the first time since 2012. And I think a year later, Newcastle wanted him after Benitez and he was like, no, I'm not ready for it. 3 years later, the first title in a decade for Rangers. They've become the best team in Scotland, which is not easy. You know, it's not like he's done it with money. Celtic were totally dominating. Rangers have had to work hard to get there, and Gerrard's been a big part of that. But look, it is Scottish football, and he's definitely going to have to move into the Premier League to prove what he's all about. There's no guarantees, but I think that in relation to what he will bring to Villa is a bit of glamour, which is what Villa want. You know, Dean Smith at the end of the day, good manager, but not really glamorous. Villa are looking for that. They want to take the next step up, and I think Steven Gerrard makes Aston Villa a more glamorous proposition for the media, for fans, but also for future signings as well. And I think he's got a great opportunity there. And I also think that Aston Villa are underachieving with the team that they've got. It seems to me that since Jack Grealish left, Villa have become an average side, and they're not an average side. They've got some really good players. They've signed some good players as well. And I think Gerrard will be given money to do that. So look, if you're a Villa fan, and I live locally to Villa, I know a lot of Villa fans, they're very excited because they've spent a lot of money over the last 2-3 years. But with a new manager, you know you're going to spend more, and he's got a very good base of a squad to go better. I think the Premier League's getting very exciting. Unfortunately, as a United fan, I don't feel excited about United, but that's my team, I support it, and hopefully it can be part of this. But I definitely think that the Premier League is getting more exciting. I'm very proud of the Premier League. There's a lot of money in it, but you know what? There's a lot of money in football. And I think it's head and shoulders above any other league in the world. And it's becoming more competitive as well. Because the thing is, you don't want to be like La Liga. You don't want to be where Barcelona and Real Madrid, it's the best league in the world, but beyond those two, it's very boring, and it's always those two winning the league, which in the main it was. What you want is what we've had in the Premier League in recent weeks. You want Brighton to go to Anfield and get a point. You want Crystal Palace to beat Man City. You want West Ham to beat Liverpool. You know, you want Chelsea to be drawing at home to Burnley. We want a competitive league, and I think that with the likes of the Villas and the Evertons and the Leicesters and the West Hams, we're now getting another wave of teams beyond the traditional top six. And if we can get 10, 12 really competitive teams, this league is going to just take off. And I think Villa are a symbolic of that with Steven Gerrard. I think he will come down. He's got a lot to prove, but he's not coming. You know, Steven Gerrard at, you know, I'm tempted to say, you know, sort of Brighton or a Southampton. He might be a good coach, but that's a very difficult job. Steven Gerrard at Liverpool, he might be a good coach, but that's a huge job. Steven Gerrard at Aston Villa, I think it's perfect. There's not really a load of history there in relation to Villa and recent success, but they are a big club. They have got money and they have got a good squad. He can go in there, and if he do, and they're underachieving as well. They are underachieving, hence that's why their manager's been sacked. I don't know whether this is going to work with Gerrard, but I certainly don't think anybody who's against it is in the right. I think it's a bit like Lampard at Chelsea, but it you know, maybe Lampard should have gone to Everton instead of Chelsea. And I think the pressure's off slightly. Gerrard at Liverpool, that's obviously what Liverpool fans want. That's obviously what Gerrard wants. And he's almost mapping the perfect managerial career, really. Rangers did really well, proved himself, down to the Premier League to Villa, proved himself there, and then he'll get the Liverpool job. So, you know, from Gerrard's point of view, it's a great move. But from Villa's point of view, I think they've acted like a big club, and that's what they want to do. They've acted like a ruthless, aggressive big club. They've seen where their season's going. They've looked at their outlay and gone, this is not good. And Villa, you know, what are they, mid to lower table? Villa should be in that race for the top 8. That's where Villa want to be and beyond. I don't know whether Steven Gerrard will be able to do that this year, but this year is about what Manchester United should be doing, really. The season's dead if you stick with what you've got. If you change it and get a new manager in, well, look, we might not achieve much this year, but that's 7 months you're going to get with Gerrard going into a big summer next year. Next season, you could hit it running, and I think that's what Aston Villa have looked at. So I'm very intrigued to see how this is going to work for Aston Villa. And as I said, I think for Gerrard, it's the right move. He plays the right brand of football. He's obviously somebody who has... It's quite a rare thing, and it might not work, but it's quite a rare thing in football that you go from being a top-level footballer into a top-level coach. And he looks like, at the moment, he's doing that. There's no guarantee in 2 years we won't be saying, well, that failed. But I agree with what Villa have done. I think Gerrard's made the right move, and I think it's going to be very interesting to watch and see what they do in the high-pressure intensity of the Premier League. Because one other thing I would say about the Premier League, every game's difficult. Like, I look at Conte at Spurs. Another one. I've not even mentioned Conte at Spurs. That's another team that's going to be in that race to try and... You know, we're really privileged in this league that it could get ridiculously competitive, which is what you want. You know, nothing bores me more than what we've had over the last sort of 10 years where Man City are playing Huddersfield, Man City are playing, you know, teams that are shit and are just going to get turned over. You want... And this is why it's really difficult, because Spurs get Conte, comes in, and you look at their next 3 games and you go, they're winnable. But then you look, well, are they winnable? You know, there's not many winnable games now. And this is why it's a really difficult prospect for teams like Villa and Everton to be consistent, because, you know, you're playing Brighton away, you're playing Burnley away, you're playing Southampton at home. You know, you think they're not nailed on 9 points. But the great thing is, if they don't become nailed on points for the Liverpools and the Man Cities and the Chelseas, then you get a really competitive league. So I'm interested to see what Villa are going to do with Gerrard. I can't predict it. I predicted when Spurs got Nuno it was going to end in disaster, which it did. Gerrard and Villa, I mean, it's got to be a way of success to lead into Liverpool. But to do that's going to be very difficult. He's got a very difficult job on his hands. You know, to be successful, he's got to consistently get them in the top 8. That's going to be very difficult. But they have got them resources. And if I was a Villa fan, I'd be excited because, you know, Dean Smith had his money in the summer and he spent it. Gerrard can come in and get another load of money. In fact, he might be... You know, people talk about Newcastle in the January transfer market. If I was Villa, I'd be looking to be very, very competitive in that. You know, if Newcastle are going for Anthony Martial... If I was Villa, I'd go for it. I'd go like, don't go to a relegation team that might be good in a few years. Come to us now. So Villa could be very competitive in that transfer market in January, and it'd be very interesting to see how it goes. And I do agree. I think, you know, Newcastle's one to watch because I think Newcastle, yeah, you've got loads of money, but a lot of clubs have got money now, and it's going to be really interesting because how do you start to build a team to compete with everyone else when everyone's trying to compete and they're already ahead of you? So Premier League's very interesting. What are your thoughts on Gerrard? Smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe. Remember, we've got our all-day charity stream coming up on Saturday on this channel. I could have done it on loads of channels. We're going to be doing it on this one. So all-day charity stream on Saturday. Watch out for that. Make sure you smash a like, subscribe, get your comments in below.